Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mission Employable podcast, where we're talking all things employment here in the state of Iowa. Happy to be back in the month of November. Today, we've got an interesting episode for you. It's all about how we look at wages across several occupations here in Iowa. Here today is Donna Burkett, Bureau Chief of our Labor Market Information Division. Donna, welcome to the Mission Employable podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I just had. Oh, you.
Go ahead,
Hello,
Kathy.
Ben.
Kathy,
Hello,
to my
Donna.
right.
Yeah, I jumped the gun because I was so excited that you're here, Donna. Because I've worked with you for like several years, but not gotten to do something like this. So
Right.
I'm just happy that you're here and glad that we get to share a little bit about all the info you know and all the work you do.
Okay.
So, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at IWD and the role of the Labor Market Information Division?
Okay, so I'm one of the Bureau Chiefs in Labor Market Information Division, as Ben has said. And so what I'm doing, I'm over the federal state cooperative programs that gather data that we use for our state, and it's submitted to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then we publish the data. So we have information on occupations, on industries, wages, by the state, metropolitan statistical areas, local workforce development areas. So we're gathering data, firsthand data from employers, and then we're producing that and placing it on the website so people can look at it and use it in whatever area they're interested in for data.
I think so much information exists that we don't even realize, and so I'm super happy that you get to share some of this. How long have you been doing this work?
Ooh, Kathy. Probably 20-something years.
Wow. Yeah. So you are an expert, I'll say.
I'll let you say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll definitely
That's
call you an
great.
expert here.
That's right. That's right.
And so the reason that we have you on today is to talk about the OEWS, which is the Occupational Employment and Wage Estimate Survey that just went out on November 12th. First, give us a little bit of background on that survey and what that's all about.
Okay, so this survey goes out twice a year, in May and November. And what it does is it's a first-hand collection of occupational employment and wage data. It's the only one in the nation that's like this. It's under the auspice of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so every state does it. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So what we're doing is we're asking employers, we already know who are the employers in Iowa, approximately how many people are employed there, and then we're asking them to break that down for us. So how many people do you have in each occupation, and then what are the wages that you are paying that employee?
Do you get good response from the employers? Like, what does that look like year to year or every 6 months or so?
Well, it's dwindling.
Okay.
I hate to say,
Yeah.
employers, we would love for you to participate. So it's getting harder for us to get to you, through your gatekeepers, and just find the correct person. So it not only is a detriment to us, but it's to you, because
Yes.
now you don't know the whole story about what that particular occupation is being paid in your area or in your industry. So that's why it's so important for employers to respond to us, because then we know we get more data and we can release more information, and then you can use those for your decision making as well.
Right. The information you're collecting really informs a lot of other pieces, of work, I think, and strategy and all kinds of things. So, yeah, it's really important to get that feedback from employers.
Right. There's so much that comes out of this program besides just collecting wage and occupational data. We verify the industry. We also use this as input into making projections and the forecasting what occupations are going to be in the future, which ones are going to grow, which ones are going to decline, which is also using as input to forecast industries. There's lots of things you can use it for, such as career, decision making, job seekers, job changers, educators use it. It's used to make decisions about programming, educational programming, job training programming, and where those resources should be aligned and how much. Also, employers can use it. If I can go on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going, please.
Employers
Yes.
one of the big things employers can use it for is to compare the wages. Say you have employer X as a job posting, 60 days, 90 days, no hits. Well, let's look at the wages.
Right.
And you can look at the wages for your area with this program. So it can tell you if you're in line with the occupational wages as they should be. You can also help us make decisions about, like I said, the training programs, what the future may hold.
Right.
Looking across even borders of the state of Iowa and see what other employers could be paying for this particular occupation. So there's a lot of great uses for the data.
Does it go to all employers of all sizes, or is there a cutoff? I'm just curious. Are there parameters?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that question.
Yeah.
We have no cutoff.
Okay.
So we like
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
we start with employer size 1 up
Okay.
to thousands.
Great.
The great thing about it is if they're not considered a large employer, probably over 500 or more in Iowa, we only will survey the employer once every 3 years at the most. So we try not to burden them. But if you're a larger employer,
Okay.
We may survey you every year. However, we can work with you on that, the time of year you want to do it, or if you're getting several requests for several locations, we can work with you on combining that so you can just do
So good
one
to know.
report at it once a year and you would be done. So we
Yes.
can try to make things easier for you, as well as we have several ways you can reply to us. We send you
Okay.
forms, several reminders. The reason you get more reminders because you don't respond to us like we'd like you to. So you can do it online. You can fax. You can call us. You can
Okay.
do your own spreadsheet. There's information where you can go to a federally secure website. We take that information any way we can get it.
Great.
Yeah. So, like we said, there's a bunch of advantages to getting this survey back to us here at IWD because it's really information that drives decision making.
It does. It's career-informed decision-making is one, as well as practical decision-making about what do employers want to do with the future, or let's make changes to what we're seeing for our wages, or maybe I think employment level is a really good thing. So what I'm saying with the employment level is this data is used to make occupation projections or forecasts,
Right.
as well as industry forecasts. So now they can also see what their labor force may be or the need for it in certain occupations in the future, and that can help them
Yes.
get ready for it.
Well, sorry,
Yeah,
Ben.
no, go ahead.
So one of the things I was thinking when you were saying that, Donna, is in practical sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we look at the last dollar scholarship occupations, we utilize some of that data. That's part of the equation because we want to support funding for training programs that are going to impact growing occupations, right?
That's
so,
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, the high
So that's
demand.
exactly. So that's just one small example of how we want to make sure that we're tying the training dollars and opportunities to those jobs and occupations that are going to continue to grow and need more people.
That's right. So those high demand, high wage occupations, job changers, we're seeing people come in and out of the labor market and they're changing jobs. So we could maybe grab them and to get into one of our programs, providing them some assistance and then have a great career in Iowa.
Right.
Yeah, and I was going to say that, I mean, especially now, you were talking a little bit before about being able to compare wages in other states.
Correct.
And obviously that's useful to companies that are on the borders between, Illinois, Nebraska, north and south of us. But also, I got to imagine that for some particular occupations, being able to compare yourselves to other states where remote work happens could be useful as well.
Yeah. We do not distinguish between remote work. It's just basically the type of occupation it is. But we do divide up the occupations to our local workforce development areas, our metropolitan statistical areas in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
The good thing about this is a federal state cooperative program, so you can compare the wages across the borders if you like, but why would you leave Iowa?
That's
So
right.
I don't think there's any need to do that.
That's right. No, I agree with you 100%. We want everybody here.
Have you noticed any kind of growing trends in the wages for particular occupations over the years?
Yes, and I bet most of you have noticed some of those too, such as the retail workers we're seeing the wages have increased. Our sales force, those wages have increased. Some of the hospital care, medical health, those have increased as well. So we have seen some growing wages in those occupations over the last few years.
It's good.
Yeah, and that has to also drive some of the demand to get into those fields because obviously, everybody wants a little bit more cash.
That's right.
Well, yeah, and I also think though it in some cases it helps point out, maybe where we do have a high need to employ people, and maybe we need to consider, or employers need to consider raising wages a little bit. And what I think of there is like the CNA and the CMAs, those really critical healthcare occupations that I think we've seen increase over the past few years.
Yes, that's correct. And then we're having an aging population too.
Right.
So we're going to need more and more of those folks.
Right.
But it's a great opportunity for employers to go and look and say, hey, what are my competitors perhaps paying for this particular home care aide or nursing assistant? And then they'll have better knowledge about what they should offer as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And we do never identify employers. So it's all rolled up. We call it aggregated. So we're not able to identify or tell anyone who's responded. Employers or anyone that looks at the data cannot figure out who has responded to the survey. So it's very confidential.
Wonderful. If people are looking for this kind of information, I know we have it on our website. Is their best bet to go to the Iowa Workforce Development website, or how would you guide them?
Yes, Iowa Workforce Development and the labor market information, and then it's under occupational wages.
Okay.
Occupational employment wages. And
Okay.
you can always call me.
Okay.
And I would be able to help them as well as any of my staff, direct
That's
them
great.
to how to find the information and answer any questions they have. We'll also take the information over the phone, as I said. I wanna remind
so
you.
many. Exactly.
Yeah.
Great
Feel
reminder.
free to give the
Great
number
reminder.
too if you want.
Yes.
My direct number is 515-242-5862. But we will take the occupational wage information via fax, over the phone, the secure BLS website, Bureau of Labor Statistics website, where you get the information from about the survey and how to complete it. So there's several ways that you can get the data to us.
So it sounds like just
By mail.
exactly
Carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon.
That's
Dog,
right.
pony.
Uber. No.
Uber, anyone? Uber?
I think that so a couple of things just that I'm glad you did that reminder. So for employers, critically important to get this information in, multiple ways to get it in. And if you're just not sure and you're like, I know you want it, I don't know how to get it to you, or here's my situation, I can't do it right now, reach out, because your team will work with them to try and make it as easy as possible for them to be able to share that information, because it is so important to all of us.
Yes, and it only takes a few minutes.
That was my other question, is how long does it take?
It just takes a few minutes, as long as you know what your employees do and how much they make. And if we get the information and we don't understand it, because we do have to clean the data, we will give you a quick call back and just say, hey, can you help us out with this? But you guys, the employers in Iowa are great. We just need more responses from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the reason that we had you on, because we want to help get the word out to get some of this data back.
Yeah, exactly. And we know I think we all know everywhere people are so busy. There's so much to do in a day that hopefully this can serve just as a little pinpoint reminder. This is important. It won't take you too long, and we'll help you in any way we can.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Awesome.
All right, Donna. Well, thank you so much for dropping by the Mission Employable podcast. We appreciate you coming in and making the time. And again, fill out those surveys, get them back.
Let's go. Let's
wanna
go,
make Donna
Iowa.
happy.
Go, Iowa.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you so much.